1. All right, everyone, welcome to the Chillswitch podcast. This is a Nintendo exclusive podcast, and tonight we are going to be talking exclusively about the Mario Odyssey release. It releases in approximately 2 hours, so we're all super hyped about it. With me today, we've got Mr. Mario, aka user Banana Bear, as I'm going to get it right this time. What's up, Mario?
Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me, Mario, on this Mario-themed podcast.
I know,
today.
I figured we'd start off with you first, just because, I mean, it's too fitting.
I appreciate it.
So, yep, so we got Mario here, and we also have Caesar, which is username CJ Beats. Caesar, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just out here chilling.
That's right, man. That's what it's all about, the Chillswitch. And then finally, last but not least, we have Diego, username on Reddit, Popper Diego. And Diego, how you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Just hyped for Mario.
All right, yep. So we're all super hyped up. So first off, before we even get into any of the meat, the serious stuff, let's talk who. So okay, I know I did physical. Everyone else here is digital, or is it just I'm only a physical buyer?
I did digital.
You did digital too, okay. And then I know Mario, you did digital, right? Because you already have it preloaded.
No, I did physical.
Oh yeah, you were going to the midnight release too tonight. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
forgot,
going to the midnight release. Yeah, physical. Yeah.
Yeah, I did digital because I'm too lazy.
Too lazy. All right, so 2 digital, 2 physical, and then Mario, I'm going to Best Buy. Where are you headed?
I am going to EB Games. Oh, you guys
wow.
call them GameStop over there, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, wow, I haven't heard that name in a while, dude.
Yeah,
we used to have it though.
Yeah, we call them EB Games here still. We have a couple of the Game Stops, but they're still majority EB Games.
That's cool. Yeah, it's actually funny. When I was growing up, before it was GameStop, we had a place called Babbage's that was really popular down where I lived. And then GameStop bought them out, and then they had EB Games, and then GameStop bought them out. So
yeah,
to become the juggernaut. So, but that's cool. All right, so GameStop's got it, and Best Buy's got the midnight release. So at least it seems like a lot of places are doing midnight releases, which is really cool.
Well, there's on Instagram, Nintendo's official account. They're going crazy up in New York. Reggie's over there, and that the Nintendo World Store. They're having a fucking crazy event right now.
Reggie,
yeah.
Dude, do you guys think Mario's there?
Yeah, he legit. So I don't know how many of you are on Instagram, but they had this campaign where they had some guy dressed up as Mario just all over the U.S., like on a road trip on his journey to New York for this big Midnight launch. Man, Nintendo is fucking going all in for this, and for good reason.
That's badass, man. I had not even heard about that. Is that how long has that been going on? Has that been going on a while, or?
Like a couple of weeks, I think.
Okay.
So we started somewhere in the desert. I geographically, I don't know your place too well, but then he ended up in New York.
Well, for the record, I had no idea that was going on. I was joking around.
Yeah, I was saying, like, that segued pretty well, man. But that's good. Okay, so all right, so Mario Odyssey. I mean, we've already seen reviews. I haven't read any reviews myself, but I've seen the reviews, and like every review that I've seen has been like 10 out of 10, like 5 stars, incredible game. Like the hype, it's like the hype is like reaching its apex right now, because it's like when you see all those like crazy good reviews, you have to it's like you have to buy in at that point. You could stand the sidelines on the hype train as long as you want, but you have to be full on the hype train at this point.
Yeah, I was I don't know about you guys, but I actually haven't been following much about Mario at all. I've kind of like stayed distant from it. So, and most of that is just, I mean, I don't know if it's by design, but I've just been playing a lot of Zelda and Mario Kart. So, kind of avoiding all the spoilers and everything. So I'm just like going to go into this fresh, and knowing that it's finally, I guess a lot of it too is that I don't want to get myself pumped up for a game that I can't play yet.
Right.
And now that it's like here, you know, I think I bought it 2 days ago when where you could kind of download it.
Yeah, the preload and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So do both you and Caesar have it preloaded then and all ready to go?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, mine's there. It's funny because you push so you click on it and it says needs to connect to the internet, to see if it's activated, and then you click on it and it like spins a little circle and then it says game not available yet. So
Yeah, I was hoping
cliche.
it'd fuck up at some point, but it never did.
Yeah, I was hoping. Yeah, I'm like, maybe they screwed up.
Yeah, right. I was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, I had a few of my friends over earlier on. They came over, and it was funny because my buddy Joe, he's sitting there on the couch, and I walk past him when I first get in the house, and he's just I see him on the Switch, and I literally just see him scrolling back and forth from like the icon for Mario because he already had it preloaded. He was just like going back to the icon and like looking at it and like not actually playing any games. I'm like, are you just looking at the icon right now? And he's like, I just want to play it so bad. And I'm like, I know, man. But he's just sitting there going back to the icon. I'm like, a couple hours, man. Just wait it out, man. You got this.
Yeah, actually, right before this podcast, so I came home from the office at about like 5:30, and I fell asleep till about 7:30, just so I could stay up late and play it tonight.
I know, man. I wanted to take a quick nap, but I had people over. I was like, oh, this size. I'm like, I've got to socialize instead of getting nap time for Mario later.
Yeah, my poor girlfriend is coming with me to the midnight launch.
Oh, no way.
But I told her, I'm like, so, honey, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to be a little neglected for the next couple of days.
And the relationship is severed.
No,
Hey,
I'm lucky. She's a big gamer. So
Two-player with Cappy, man.
It's true.
Yeah, actually,
That is true.
I'm really curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that they do have some form of like a co-op mode in there, but I don't know if it's just like at random intervals or you can do it kind of anytime you want. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how that works because that would be like dope if it's just hop in, hop out co-op.
Yeah, does anyone actually know for sure? Because I mean, I don't think that's not really like a spoiler. I don't think because I mean it's just like a game mechanic. But does anyone actually know for sure? Or are we all kind of in the dark with that?
I think it's did any of you play Odyssey? Not Odyssey, Galaxy?
Yes,
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
and I was hoping you would not say that because that two-player sucked.
I think it's I mean, it might be more fleshed out, but I think it's something like that where
Okay.
a second player. I mean, you don't really do much. You just kind of like help.
Just
So,
kind of along
I don't
for the
know.
ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know. It might be nice if you have a significant other to kind of play with you who doesn't really play video games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
just to
something
jump
like
in
that,
every now and again, right?
Yeah.
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 All right, so I have a question for you. Since none of us can really, I mean, obviously we're all aboard the hype train, choo choo. But the fact of the matter is that none of us have it in our hands yet.
Mhm.
So I'm curious about all of your backgrounds when it comes to Mario. Like, where does it stand for you guys in terms of like all the franchises when it comes to either Nintendo or just gaming in general? Like, because for me personally, this was the first Super Mario Brothers was the first video game I ever played.
Yep. Same exact thing for the NES. But that was the first one I ever played.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What about Diego and Caesar?
I wouldn't say Mario's the first game I ever played, but it's definitely one of like the most like when I think of video games, it's always been part of my life.
Yeah.
Like the Mario franchise. To me, Mario it's not my favorite franchise. It's not even necessarily my favorite Nintendo franchise, but it's kind of like comfort food. Like it's like do you have your TV show where you can just kind of put it on in the background and it doesn't matter what episode you jump in, you can always just watch it.
Right.
Like Mario is that game to me. Like you're never going to get a bad experience with Mario. It's always going to be a good or great game. And you can just jump into any game. Like I know that I'm going to be able to just jump into this Mario game and play it because I've been able to play every game. Like there's not like
Right.
there's going to be no tutorial that it needs to teach me how to jump. Even the idea of like the capture mechanic or whatever it is, like I already know that I'm going to be able to control those characters. I don't know, it's comfort to me. It's an easy game to play, and so it's always just to me it's just like Mario. It's always been that game where I'm like, all right, it's coming out. I know I'm going to like this game. I don't need to know anything about it.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I think that's totally true. I mean, even like I wasn't like I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like the biggest fan ever of Sunshine, but that game was still a really solid game. Like I still totally enjoyed it. I think that at the time that was more of like that age for me where I was like, oh, I don't want to like Mario as much because I feel like I'm gonna be kiddie if I like Mario and stuff like that. And Sunshine was kind of like the epitome of that. It was like the most retracted Mario when it comes to like it wasn't like violent or anything like that. So I felt like Mario was at that time I was just like I wanted to move away from it. But even that game, I love that game, man. Like I could say I didn't like it, but honestly, it was one of my favorite games at the time on the GameCube.
I never
Yeah.
played it.
Really?
Yeah.
Sunshine?
Wait, so why
Yeah.
didn't you play it?
Oh, okay. All right.
We're all like,
All right,
why didn't you
boys.
play it, man?
All right,
Yeah.
I
guys.
didn't
So
play it either.
here's. Oh, really? Okay. So I'm not alone. But here's the thing with me, and this I'm probably gonna cost us some viewers, so I
Uh-oh.
apologize.
Oh God, here we go.
Well,
We have
currently we have
I-
0 viewers since this is the first one. So.
Yeah. So hopefully.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be negative after this.
All right.
I did not like Super Mario 64.
What?
Yeah,
No.
it was. I couldn't wrap my head around the 3D space.
What was that,
So-
Caesar?
Hold on. That's not okay. So first, when you said that, I couldn't say any words, so that's why you heard silence from me.
Right.
Um, Okay, so it wasn't that you didn't like Mario 64. You didn't like the transition to a 3D space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just couldn't like. I found that whenever I was jumping to kill a Goomba or something, I would always jump like in front of it as opposed to on top of it, and even just the platformer just didn't feel right to me because I love the 2D one, so it was a hard adjustment. But so because of that experience, I skipped over Sunshine. It just didn't appeal to me. But what won my heart back was the Galaxy series.
Okay.
Galaxy was so good.
Yeah. Galaxy was honestly like incredible.
Yeah. I actually I had no negative feelings about Sunshine. I thought that was a really good game.
Mhm.
I loved the idea that it was more like realistic setting wise. You know, like they went to a tropical and like the buildings looked more realistic. I don't know. I really liked it. I didn't realize that there was like such like I wouldn't say hate, but like controversy over that game
There was a lot of
until
controversy,
years
so-
later.
Yeah, and
Nintendo. That was the weird time when everyone was hating on Nintendo because they were too kiddie.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I was saying with me is that I mean like I really did honestly like the game. It's just that I think I kind of fell into that bandwagon like as you do sometimes, like I kind of just started hating it because I saw other people doing it and I was like, oh yeah, like like screw Mario, man, I'm gonna go play like my Halo. I love Halo and everything. It's best Xbox for life. You know what I mean? Like that was like me at that time. Just trying to like just try and get away from like he's saying like the kiddie aspect and try and look for something more mature. Like, but I think that yeah, I think the hate was definitely unwarranted. Like playing it years later again, I was like, no, this is 100% a solid game. It's fantastic. The art style is incredible. They did a lot of unique things that other Mario games hadn't done yet. Like they used the 3D space, I think, the most efficiently, and I think that it shaped how we have 3D Mario games now. Like I don't think Galaxy would have been the same without it. I definitely know Odyssey wouldn't have been the same without it. Like I don't know. There's something very fantastical about it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think of. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask Caesar what his experience with Mario is. I know he skipped Sunshine, but I'm curious as to see what his input is.
With just Mario in general?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, my first memory with gaming was Mario 64. So like
Nice.
as a kid, like I enjoyed the fuck out of it, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, so I just be stuck like in the earlier levels.
Yeah.
But I went back recently and played it again, and it still kind of holds up, like gameplay wise. Obviously, visually, it's not going to be the same, but it's still a good game in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did any of you ever play the remake for the DS?
No, I didn't actually.
I did not.
So that game to me was like 100 times better. They added, it wasn't just a remake. They added like new characters so you could play as like Luigi.
Yeah, I heard
Oh,
that.
that's
Wario.
So did the
Wario
other
and
characters?
Yoshi.
Did the other characters control different, or were they just skins?
No, they controlled differently. Like I think I'd have to go back and check it out again because I can't recall. But like Yoshi could flutter kick. Wario was like a heavier character. I think Luigi
Okay.
was faster. I can't recall, but they played differently. So it was like the same game, but they did a few. It was almost like, do you remember Zelda, the Ocarina of Time? They had like the Master Quest
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
where it was like there were just some things that were slightly different.
When you're talking about the Yoshi on there too, it just reminds me of how crazy it was in the first game where you had to wait until after you collected every single star to see Yoshi for the first time. That don't get me wrong, that was totally worth it, but like I wanted to see Yoshi so bad in that game because he was like my favorite like character. I was like, I just want to see Yoshi, and then once you see him at the end, it was like, I don't know, it was a crazy feeling. Like it was like I was so happy just to finally see Yoshi in that game and like the 3D Mario.
No, yeah, it was cool. Well, I mean, if you do play the DS version, you can play as him. So
that's cool.
Who knows? Maybe.
So does he still appear if you get all the stars?
Yeah, like it was like a secret thing where at the end you would go to like the back of the castle and like he would.
No, sorry, yeah, I know that, but I mean, like if you could play as him in the DS version, then what happens if you get all the stars?
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, that game, the remake came out like, I don't know, 15 years ago. So I don't remember what happened, but I think maybe there's like a toad up there. There's something else up there. They changed some of the stuff, but
okay.
No, yeah, but that was really cool. But anyways, the reason that reminds me too that back to Sunshine, I think Sunshine is the like Mario game that I've played the least. I mean, I played it like when it came out, and then that was the end of it because it wasn't available at Virtual Console. It wasn't. They haven't remade it yet, and so I definitely think that's a game that Nintendo should remake, like kind of like how they did like the Wind Waker HD remake.
Yep.
Because there's no other way to play that unless you hook up your GameCube or bring out like the GameCube compatible Wii's.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm sure all of you have heard that with the latest firmware update, they did the sneaky GameCube controller compatibility.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So obviously everyone's first thought was Smash Brothers, but then their other thought was Virtual Console as well. So maybe this is a precursor to that.
It'd be nice, yeah. I mean, I think one of the reasons they haven't remade Sunshine is a lot to do with the fact that game used the analog triggers for the FLUDD, and so that's not something you can recreate with any of the. Well, I mean, I'm sure you could recreate it, but it'd be more difficult to recreate because the digital
was it like
buttons
pressure
now.
sensitive?
Right. Yeah. So the harder you push, the harder the whatever the hose thing, the FLUDD. I think it was called FLUDD.
Yeah, FLUDD.
Yeah, whatever that was. The more water it would shoot out. So it would, So if you were like floating around, if you push it harder, you'd float higher up.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, it was neat. So yeah, so I think it might be hard to remake that because I don't know how they would recreate that with the buttons now. But with the GameCube, yeah, you're right. That you could use that to play that game.
So okay, I just wanted to throw in my two favorite Mario games that are not conventional 3D Mario games. So and I want to see if you guys were as like amazed and in love with these games as I was. But my two major ones. First one, Super Mario RPG for the SNES. Did any of you guys play that?
Yeah, I played it.
Okay, well, Super Mario RPG, amazing, and then Paper Mario.
Yeah,
Paper Mario is my favorite.
Dude, Paper Mario is the best. Like that game, I still remember even the like the Game Informer magazine. Do you remember when they had like the cutout of it? There was like you open the Game Informer and there was actually like a Paper Mario and it said like cut here and you could cut it out and make and like have your own little Paper Mario. Like that's how much I remember about that. How much I enjoyed that game. But yeah, it's by far my favorite. Like I just love the world, like the lore, like the story, everything. Like the combat was great. It was difficult as hell. That game is definitely not easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, Paper Mario is one of my favorite franchises or like sub franchises. It's so good. And like what was his name? Do you remember the fat guy who just ate everything in like the I don't know what kingdom that was or whatever, but do you remember that guy in Paper Mario?
I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I don't remember his name because it's been so long.
Yeah, that game was so good. And the sequel was so good too, Thousand Year Door for the GameCube.
Yep, Thousand Year Door, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it sucks that they kind of like
go away from it.
No, I was just going to say, once again, I'm sorry I can't chime in, but I've never touched any of those games.
Really? Damn, man, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Those are great games.
You're missing out on... Yeah, those are classics, and they hold up really well.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I definitely recommend... I mean, you can't play... I mean, you need a GameCube or like to play Thousand Year Door, but I know the original Paper Mario is available on the Virtual Console for the Wii U and the Wii. So if you ever get a chance, you should go back and play those. They're like $5 or $10. Play that one. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to check that out. I mean, it might be worth hooking up my Wii again.
Yeah.
Finally give me
But
an
it's
excuse.
definitely but it's like it's an RPG. It's not like a platforming game. It's definitely an RPG. You have sidekicks, that join your team. There's actual there's a whole story to the entire game. It's like deep in like dialogue.
So
it's just
I posted in the chat the advertisement. It says free demo, and then you just cut out the Paper Mario.
That's awesome.
I know, it's so great. Like that's like the best advertising you could ever get.
During that time, Nintendo had some pretty good advertisement. I remember some of their like SP advertisement, like the Game Boy SP.
Yeah.
Was like, it was like this guy who was sitting or laying in his bed, and it said, and he was playing his Game Boy, and it's like the SP was like the first like Game Boy that had like a backlit screen.
Yeah.
And it was like shining on his face while he was playing, and it said, "The second best thing you can do in your bed."
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow, I don't remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah, they did some funny stuff.
I like the Smash Brothers commercial where they had the me and you and me, and they'd like fight each other.
Yeah, yeah, and then they
That's old. Yeah,
that was a good commercial. That was like, when I see that, it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah, like it's instant. Like, yeah, you just immediately think about it. I also am seeing that there was a game. It looks like it's called it's like another kind of Paper Mario game. It's called Paper Jam. Have you guys ever heard of that? I've never heard of this game, so I just looked it up and saw it, but I've never seen it before.
Paper Jam, wasn't that a game that came out for the 3DS?
I think it did. I've never. That's what I'm saying. I've never heard about it before. I just randomly clicked on it. And I was wondering if anyone had ever heard of that because I was like, Mario Paper Jam.
I never played it. I think I remember.
Never heard of it.
I think that was a so there's like an RPG
yeah, you're right. It's a
3DS
game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was like a mix of both of them. I forget what the Game Boy one is, but I never played the Game Boy like Mario RPGs.
Yeah, it's part of the Mario and Luigi series. Remember when they had that going on for a while?
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, it's still going on. They just released a new one or a remake of one of them.
Oh, really? Nice.
It was a remake of both of them for 3DS. Yeah, it has Bowser's Inside Story and the other one as well.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
Ooh, that's
so I never
awesome.
played any of those. How were those games?
I've never played them either. I honestly, for me, Mario is a platformer, so I tend to stay away from his other outings, minus Smash Brothers.
Right.
All right. Yeah. I mean, Smash is just like,
that's his own.
That's
thing.
not even that's his whole. Yeah, I'm like that. I wouldn't even consider that a Mario game. That's just like it's a whole different thing.
That's just Nintendo beat 'em up.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Mario Strikers like a Mario game?
Oh yeah, sports game. That's another
man,
thing.
yeah, absolutely. I played Mario Strikers.
That's one of my favorite Mario titles. Like not like mainline type of stuff.
Yeah, I never played that one myself, so I'm not.
Dude,
what is it like?
fantastic.
What type of game is it?
It's obviously it's soccer, but like it's really it's Mario-fied, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. Like there's like these little power-ups where I forgot how the hell you get the power-ups, but like each character has like their own little sequence that it's basically like an automatic goal.
Yeah. I forget how you get them as well, but yeah. It's really cool when you get them. You're like, well, he's gonna get a goal.
I just saw the cover art for it, and the cover art is like fantastic. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, they were going really intense for that.
Yeah, it looks like an anime almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, right.
It's like Mario's about to
just...
Kame with the soccer ball.
Yeah, no, Caesar just like opened Pandora's box. I remember surprisingly, I played a lot of Mario Tennis.
Yes.
That's what I love that game.
Yeah, honestly, for some reason, I forgot it even existed up until Caesar just mentioned the sports. But yeah,
hey, man, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I really liked that game.
I used to play that with my friend growing up, and it was so good. They were just like, it was a tennis game, but you had like, kind of like with Mario Strikers, you had like the question blocks on the field. So when you hit the ball, the tennis ball, if it hit one of them, you get like a special item, right, that you could use in battle while you're playing this tennis game. So it was really cool.
I mean, they should honestly, for the Switch, they should just release a Mario Sports like collection and just do like Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, Mario Strikers.
Oh my god! Just pop off the Joy-Cons and just being able to do that anywhere.
Yup. Golf would be perfect for that too, man. That would be great on the Switch because they already have like Golf Story and stuff, which Golf Story takes direct it takes direct information reference from Mario Golf. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's what I heard in all the reviews. I had never played that one myself, but I mean, I never thought a golf game could be fun. But hey, if Golf Story pull off, I'm sure Mario can.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Golf Story is amazing. Definitely highly recommend. But
Not right
So
now.
what do you guys so I mean we've all played the platforming games, it sounds like. As far as the platforming series, what do you think how would you rank them? There's
All right, yeah, that's a good
64.
question. Why don't we do like so? Just so we don't get out of hand, why don't we do our top 3?
oh, that's
All right.
okay. All
Why
right.
don't you go first?
Yeah, Mario, since you're the Mario, the resident Mario of the group.
All right, that's fair. I will start from the bottom up, and I think my list might surprise you guys.
Right? I'm sure
So-
after we found out about all these other Mario games we totally forgot about, so
Yeah.
Well, considering
so,
he said he hated Mario 64.
yeah.
yeah. So spoiler alert, that's not on my list at all. Coming in at number 3, I'm gonna say Super Mario Brothers 2 for the NES, and I'm not talking like the Lost Levels. I'm talking the weird ass one. The one where you pull turnips out of the ground and throw them at people.
And you fight Birdo and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that game was fucking weird, but I played that one much more than I played 1 and 3. I don't know. I love 1 and 3, obviously, but for some reason, the fact that 2 was so weird, I kept coming back to it.
It is a super weird game, and I mean, it's definitely not going to be on my top because I think that game is just not, like, I remember growing up and just feeling like it wasn't even like a Mario game because it just felt so different to me than any other Mario game. Like, I mean, but it just felt so disjointed from everything else.
And I like the fact that you can play as different characters too, because like for the first, you play as Peach or Toad. It was bizarre. But you know what? It's funny because that game kind of is like almost like a black sheep when it comes to the Mario games. But it took so many influences that are still in it today. Like the Shy Guys became major enemies because of that game.
Right.
Birdo was a main staple for a while.
Yep.
Well, that game was, I'm not 100% certain on this, so don't like quote me, but I think that game in Japan was a totally different franchise.
Yeah,
And when they
You are
brought it
correct,
to
sir.
was there? Okay, yeah. So when they brought it to the U.S. or outside of Japan, they like superimposed Mario on it, and that's why it's so bizarre because it wasn't originally a Mario game.
Yeah, the whole history behind that was the actual Mario Brothers 2 in Japan. They thought it would be too hard for us North Americans, so the original Japanese game was called Doki Doki Panic, and then they just
Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, I don't know. And so they just swapped out the characters for Mario, and they're like, "Well, here you go, fuckers."
I love it. That name is hilarious, dude.
All right,
Yeah,
so
apparently that's like its own franchise over there. But yeah, sorry.
so Mario, instead of you going for your second, how about we all do our third, and then
Yeah, I
you
like
start
that.
with your
I like
second,
that.
and then keep going around.
Good call.
So yeah, so Ryan, I guess.
I already got one. So my third is I'm gonna definitely go ahead and say the Super Mario for the original Game Boy. So did you guys ever play that like on the old gray?
I
Game
never
Boy?
had a Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Advance, but I never had a Game Boy.
Yeah, so the original Game Boy. Now, I mean, I don't know if this is everyone, but when I got it, it came with that Mario game. So you got the Game Boy and you got the Mario with it. And it's just a standard, like, it was like the NES Mario, obviously like way lower graphics because this is the, early 90s Game Boy. But that game was like just huge for me because I came from playing on the NES and then I transitioned. I became more of like a Sega fanboy at that point, And as soon as that happened, I kind of strayed away from Mario. But that kept me, like, the Game Boy kept me as a Nintendo fan, because I would play that like on the bus ride to school, or like we would go to, you know, like we'd go to like the science fair or something at like school, and we'd go on like a really long bus ride, like 2 hours, like up north, and I would just play that old school Game Boy Mario. And it was so cool just to have this portable Mario after, like, you know, sitting there on like an old TV playing with my dad and stuff like that, and then just being able to be on the bus and just kind of zone out and playing my own game. So I don't know, that's just probably why it hits number 3 spot for me, just because of this nostalgia factor. But
what Mario game is it? Was this a remake of the NES one, or is this a whole different like?
I mean, it's I don't know. I don't think it's like a remake per se, because I remember the levels being kind of a bit different. But it's just essentially just a straight up Mario game. Like, it's still got the same level set up and everything. But yeah, it's just kind of its own little weird game. And like I remember just specifically the one thing I remember about the first level is there was a bunch of like sphinxes, like, you know, like in the desert and stuff. There's like pyramids and like a bunch of sphinx, and like that's just how I remember it.
It's Super Mario Land.
Super Mario Land, yeah, that's what it's called. Yep.
All right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
and I love that he had like the little tiny scuba thing that he would sail in. And I thought that was like the coolest looking thing ever. Like, it was so like cartoony. I loved it.
So I completely skipped over this game, but I did play it. I think it was the sequel to this one.
Oh yeah.
It was like Legend of the Six Coins or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And it like you would get a, like, one of the power-ups was a carrot that let you fly.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Hold on, let me...
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay, so yeah,
it's
6 golden coins, Super Mario Land 2, yeah, sequel.
Yeah, okay. So I played that one and I really like this one. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, just I'm posting it in the chat so you guys could see, but just so you guys could see the graphics, like how low-fi they were and everything, but just like, you know, when you're you know, that young and you're gonna have this in your hands, like playing it, like that's what I mean. Like, people are so spoiled nowadays because we have the Switch, right? And we can just, you know, play HD Zelda, you know, while we're taking a poo. But this is like, you know, for that time, this is like the best.
Right.
So okay, so that's my number 3. So who's up next?
I'll go last.
Caesar, you want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So my number 3 is Mario 64.
Nice.
Ooh, plot
it's on the list.
Yeah, that's my number 3. That's it.
I'm assuming that Mario 64 is probably going to be on a lot of the lists and for people.
To be honest, I thought it was going to be a lot of your guys' number 1.
No.
So
we haven't got there yet, Mario.
Right. So why is that your number 3? What's like what?
Well,
so I'll just go.
There
Go
isn't
ahead.
like that much logic into it. It's just like I like these other 2 games for other reasons, I guess.
But that game is still classic enough for you to put it in your top 3.
Yeah. I started with that game basically. That's why it's like special in my heart, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I loved that. Was my first like 3D game. So playing that game and like when it came out blew me away. Like the idea that like even like how Mario could fly, it was just like I was just like, holy shit, like this is real.
Yeah. You're like, Mario can do this.
Yeah,
Diego,
so that was
what's
a
your
fun
3?
Game. So my 3 is Super Mario World.
Nice. A classic.
That's the one for Super Nintendo.
Super
correct?
Nintendo.
Yeah.
I unfortunately skipped out on that system, so please school me.
You skip. Okay, so
I'm gonna be honest real fast. I also did not have a Super NES. Because at the time, again, I was still Sega fanboy, so I did skip on the system. But I played that a lot because my cousins had it, and every time I'd go to their house, like it was perfect because since I only had the Sega and they only had Super Nintendo, anytime we would flip and go to each other's houses, we would switch systems and we would just play for like hours, and it was like perfect because it was like, you know, we just got to go over there and play it separately, and we didn't have to like, you know, worry about it. So.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I was alive. So.
Wait, how old are you?
You were not
I'm
alive.
22.
These are actually, you are very correct.
Yeah, he actually probably wasn't. That's true.
So I mean,
so like, the Super Nintendo was actually like, when I really got into gaming, it was the 64. Like that was like my prime age for gaming. So I was kind of at the tail end of the Super Nintendo. but I remember watching my brothers play this game, and I remember playing it at like my house and having like my sister. She was younger than me, but she was like, you know, she would try and play, and we just kind of like fuck around. And then I remember going back to it after I played 64, and just like it was the epitome of like side-scrolling,
Yep.
like platforming. It was so well done. The graphics looked great. You could play with like, I think it was the first game to introduce Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
You had Yoshi, you could ride on Yoshi. You had all these power-ups, and you could fly with your cape. There was just so many cool things in this game. And it was just pretty. It was like a colorful game. I was young, so it's like it was like a cartoon, like the way the graphics looked to me.
Oh yeah.
And so I loved that game. It was awesome. And I love the fact that you could play multiplayer on it. You couldn't play like in co-op, but you would switch back and forth as like you died.
Yeah.
Which is why, and I mean, you'll notice from my list that that's something that I really liked about the Mario games. Being able to just kind of like play with someone else and enjoy that. So, yeah, so that's my number 3.
And really quick, just since we're on the subject and because of what Caesar said about he probably wasn't alive. So this is something I find really fascinating right now because I did not know this. But okay, so Super Mario World's initial release date was November 21st, 1990. So
Wow. Yeah, I was 2.
Yeah, so same. I was 2 years old. So it's crazy. And what I wanted to say about that was that it's interesting because I mean I definitely have memories of being probably like I would say 5 or 6 and playing this game like with my cousins and everything. And I mean I think that's pretty accurate from my memory. But so it's weird to think about how the shelf life of systems was so like long back then. You know what I mean? Like to think that game was still being played, you know, possibly like 3-4 years later, and that was still such a big deal, you know, like that's weird to think about because we go through games and systems so quick now, you know, every few years there's another console generation now. So I think that's really interesting.
Well, so I was born in 90, so I was actually 0 when this game came out.
Yeah, age 0.
Yeah. So if like you do the math, I didn't play this game until after I played 64, which came out I think in 96. So I was in like 7 or 8 when I was playing this game. So that, I mean, it does go to show like the shelf life for this game was like really long. And I also have, so my brother, I love this game so much. My brother actually, who's older than me, 10 years older than me, actually found completely sealed in perfect condition Super Mario World, like the box, the game's in there, it's sealed.
Wow.
That I still have. It's at my parents' house in a box. But yeah, I have that because my brother was like, he's like, hey, here, and it like kind of just surprised me with it. It's like, hey, I found this, you know, if you want it. I'm like, yeah, of course I want it.
You're like, damn right, I want that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all right, I'm done. That's my 3.
All right, so Mario, but I'm gonna go back to you and your 2 now.
Number 2. Okay, so I
coming
think
in at number
this
2.
one coming in at number 2 is New Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Wii.
Oh,
dude,
okay.
That's my number 2.
All right, well that works. that cuts about 5 minutes from the cast, so let's go with that.
I was gonna say let's double team it because personally, I love this game again because as you guys know, side scrolling is my jam. But it wasn't just that because I had played New Super Mario Brothers for the DS. But what made the Wii version perfect was the co-op.
Yes, that's why.
Yeah, that was something else. That blew my mind to be able to play. Because yeah, like you were saying, playing Mario back in the day, you would die and then change, which was fine. But being able to play with someone at the same time on the same screen, it blew my mind.
Yeah. So. So New Super Mario New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii was so good, and it was like, so it was technically the sequel to the DS version. So the graphics kind of looked the same. They were nicer, obviously, because the Wii could make better graphics, but the co-op just made the game so much better, and but it also made it so much more difficult because you could pick each other up and like throw each other into like enemies or like kill each other. And it's funny because my friend who played it, him and his girlfriend used to play it all the time, and they called it divorce mode because they would get in fights over it. So whenever I play a co-op mode on any game now, I just call it divorce mode because you're just bound to get in fights with someone. And it's not like, you know, like stupid fights, but they're just like fun fights. But yeah, no, that game was so good. The design was really good. I love the graphics. I know now, like a lot of people think the graphics are a little tired because they've been around for so long.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the problem is that they really ran that new series, like the new Super Mario Bros. Series. They really ran that to the ground. Like they milked the fuck out of that.
Right. Well, I mean, you look at the sales for those games; those are like some of the best-selling games. Like, I don't even think they're the best, not just in the Mario franchise, but just like in general. They sold like 30 million copies, the new series, at least for the Wii and the DS. Yeah. So I think they just saw that like people love this shit, so we're just gonna, you know, keep milking it.
But yeah, level design was great, co-op was great. It was also a good length too. Like the 8 worlds, and they didn't really outstay their welcome. Like they were all varied. I just really liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and at the time too, like, you know, like the side-scrolling platforming, aside from the DS game before that, you hadn't seen a side-scrolling Mario game in, I think, over a decade.
Yeah,
so it was a long time.
A while because everyone was going, you know, the 3D route. So this was like like for me, I'm just like, oh my god, this is perfect.
Right, to be able to go back, it was refreshing, even though it was like, you know, it was something that was old, I guess, side-scrolling. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, Caesar, do you have another 2? Numero dos.
Oh yeah, number 2, Paper Mario 64. That's
nice.
My jam.
I like that one.
Hold on. We're doing platforming. You can't do Paper Mario.
Wait, are we?
Are you sure?
I thought we were just. I thought it was any game.
Oh shit! Then hold on. My whole list gets screwed upside down. Then we're doing platforming.
Yeah.
Man.
yeah, because I was gonna say, I'm just doing platforming because those are the only ones I played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, fine.
Am I cool with Mario? I mean, Paper Mario. Am I cool with that?
All right. Well,
I think you're cool with it.
Yeah, man.
That's fine. But just for the record, my list changes if we start adding like Paper Mario and stuff like that. But I'll stick to the platforming. But yeah, that's fine.
Like I'll stick to it.
All right. Well, that's my 2. Fuck it.
I was the same, man. At this point, might as well just go with it. So
wow, that was the N64 one, correct?
Yeah.
2 N64 games. So what makes it your number 2?
I don't know. It's just like it was like vastly different, and like the story was cool, the style was cool, like the animation and shit. The gameplay was cool. It was just like overall a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I agree.
Yeah, I know everyone else was gushing over it. Yeah, and that's a spiritual successor because of all the copyright bullshit to Super Mario RPG, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I don't have much to say about it because we talked about it earlier. I love the Paper Mario series, so
yep,
that game deserves to be on any list.
It does. It really does.
Nice.
So okay, so I think it's me, right, for the list here.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
So my number 2 is number 2, right? So my number 2 is gonna be Super Mario RPG, which I think I'm the only person that's played it here, right?
I played it, but I played it on a emulator on the PC.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you have some experience, but like you still understand that it's like, you know, the first really big turn-based RPG Mario game, and like, you know, it's got like very difficult. And so I posted actually in chat. So this is one of the reasons why I love this game is they had this character in it, which I don't think he's ever been in another Mario game since, but his name was Gino. And at the time, he was like the ultimate Mario character for me because he didn't fit in the Mario series at all, which is probably why he hasn't ever been in a Mario game since, just because of that. But he like just the first one, the whole thing is just like it's like you're going into like a fantasy RPG. Like it's like if you took like, you know, like Final Fantasy and then mixed it with Mushroom Kingdom. You know what I mean? So it's just it's one of those like perfect mixes for me because at the time I was such an RPG fan and I was so into, you know, again, like just Mario in general. But so yeah, so again, and I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have the SNES. So again, this is a game I solely played like with my cousins. And like it was one of those games where they would just get so pissed at me because I'd be sitting there for hours trying to get through the next, you know, area. and just doing all these different battles and stuff. And so yeah, it's just one of the most unique games, and I don't think there's ever going to be anything quite like it. I think that the Paper Mario series definitely took what it based off of and ran with it. But yeah, it's just the dark fantasy and all the cool different references and characters and everything, and just the uniqueness of it. It's one of those ones that's going to stick with me forever. So
yeah, so I know a lot of people, every time a new Super Smash Brothers pops up on the horizon, everyone's always clamoring for Geno as a playable character.
Yep, because it's like the pipe dream, you know what I mean? Of like one day we'll see Geno again, because he appeared in that. It's like he's like a phantom. It's like he never even really existed. Like he was in that game and then never any other games again. So
yeah. So Geno I think is technically like a Square Enix character, and that's probably why he hasn't shown up in any Mario game.
Yep, you're correct.
Which is weird, but hey, like if Nintendo, like if the Switch does well and third parties come back to Nintendo, maybe Square Enix they'll partner up again and say, hey, let's bring this back.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty dope.
And just so you guys know, like what he did, like he had like a wand that he like fired magic out of and stuff, and he's basically just like a war wizard. Like again, like not fitting at all with like the Mario theme. He's just like this really badass like war wizard character that just like could mess people up. So he's super cool. And I think his character was that he was actually like a ventriloquist dummy, I think, is what he started off as, and then like he got like, I don't know, like it was possessed.
So bizarre.
Yeah, it's like he got like a star.
Seen that design,
It's like a star piece or something hit him or something like that. And anyway, he got like awakened and became like an actual basically
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, yeah. He's like a badass magic wizard Pinocchio. So it's like you can't not like him.
Yeah, he is like really weird looking.
Okay, cool. All right, so that brings us to our number ones, right? So this is like the meat. This is like the serious stuff. So
yes, sir.
Have to top off all these great games.
Who should go first?
It's Mr. Mario.
I was gonna say, why don't we just do the order we've been doing before? So I guarantee I'm the only one that has this one as my number one.
Can I'm pretty sure I have the same one.
Oh my god! If this happens, I'm gonna freak out.
I sincerely doubt it.
I'm shit.
All right, on the count of three, you both say it at the same time.
I know for a fact it will not be his. I know it because unfortunately, not a lot of people played it because it was made for a doomed system. And of course, I'm talking about
Super Mario 3D World.
No way!
Damn it!
That's my number one.
Wow!
Saving time, Jesus.
Holy fuck! Wow!
I sensed it. I was like, man, I have like, I don't know, like kinetic like waves or whatever that are connecting to Toronto right now.
To Toronto.
Holy shit! You completely surprised me. I gotta admit, I'm caught off guard. Wow, yeah. I didn't know you were one of the fellow Wii U survivors.
Oh, for sure. I love my Wii U.
Yeah, wow, yeah. Well, shit, yeah. So again, I guess we gotta double team this one again.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can go first on why you liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was like I mentioned before, the Galaxy series is what got me to really appreciate the 3D Marios, but Super Mario 3D World was just it had the structure was really cool. Like it was nice and bite sized. So if you could only play for a little while, you're like, oh shit, I'll just do a level, did it, and then you would go. I like the challenge too because some of those levels were really difficult, especially the bonus ones, and the power ups were nutty. Fucking Cat Mario, that was awesome.
Cat Mario, I love Cat Mario.
Cat Mario's dope.
The Super Mario 3D World is like the most underrated 3D game.
3D Mario game. Because unfortunately, not a lot of people got a chance to play it, right?
It's so good. There's like in here, I'll go off on a list why. You have 4 or 5 different characters depending on if you beat the game or not, because I think Rosalina becomes a playable character after you beat it.
Yeah.
That all play differently from each other. So like Peach can fly. The Mario just is like your standard universal character. Luigi runs faster. And then Toad.
I think Toad is just small, so harder to hit. Maybe.
Yeah, there was something else with Toad. But
Senpai.
anyways, so you had all these different characters, and on top of that, you had all these power ups. You had really, really awesome power ups, like the cherry, which like duplicated you
Oh,
into
that one tripped me the
another.
fuck out. I
Yeah,
love
it
that
was.
one.
Yeah, it was so weird that so you would like duplicate yourself into an exact copy, and you would control them both at the same time. So if you're Peach, you would have two Peaches, and you're moving and doing the same thing. But if you hit another cherry, you'd have three, and then if you hit another one, you'd have four, and you could go. I don't know how many you could get, but you could
I
have
think,
like
yeah,
all
you
these
could do.
Marios. What was that?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I forget how many you could have too, but some of the levels like focused around that, like in terms of solving puzzles. Like, and you got bonus shit if you kept all four of your Marios alive at the end, which
Right.
was really difficult.
Yeah, it was so difficult, and you'd feel bad when one fell off the edge. You're like, shit.
Yeah, like no.
Because you'd be focusing on another one doing something, and then one Mario would like they're doing the same thing that you're doing, but because they're on a different part of the map, they're just like hitting shit and like just hitting walls and stuff. I don't know. They had really cool power ups for that game. It was the first 3D Mario game to have co-op, which made that game so much fun. I don't know if you Mario, if you played that game in co-op.
I did not, unfortunately. This one was one I played on my own.
So did you? Okay, so did you complete the game?
I did. I didn't do all of the bonus stuff, unfortunately, but I did. I beat the game, and I did some of the bonus stuff. I didn't 100% it.
So I 100%ed that game in co-op. In co-op, and playing that game by yourself is difficult enough because it had this difficulty curve. Like that game felt like it ended multiple times. Like you would hit, and you're like, "Oh, it's done," and then suddenly another world would open, and then you beat that
honestly,
one,
I remember
and
that.
another world would open. Yeah, it just kept going, and it got harder and harder. The very last level, I think it was called Champions Road. That was like one of the hardest things I've ever done in video games.
That I couldn't finish that. That's where I dropped off. I'm like, well, that's enough for me because that was fucking brutal.
So I played that for 2 months trying to beat that in co-op.
Jesus.
And I finally did it. It felt like the best accomplishment in a video game. It was so good. It was so hard, but it was just like once you were done and you did it, it was like, I don't know, because you like, I would get good at a certain part, so I could get to a certain part, and I'd keep getting there, and I'm like, I'd push a little forward, and I'd mess up and die, and then I'd get good at that part, and I'd push forward, and it's like you just slowly pushed forward until you completed it. So I don't know. It was just that I don't know. That game is just so underrated. A lot of people like crap on it, and it's I don't know why. It's like it's literally the best Mario game, at least as platforming goes.
Yeah,
it's the best one that's available. It's incredible. So good. Yeah.
Fun fact: when it comes to me playing any Mario game, be it Mario Kart or whatever, I always have to pick Mario because otherwise it trips me out when someone else is Mario. Because I'm like, oh shit, that's not me, but because of the name thing.
Yeah, you're like, but I'm Mario.
Yeah. So like, I just always default to Mario because it just makes my life easier. Because like, yeah, I'm Mario. It makes sense to me.
So that's funny that you say that because I used to always be Yoshi. Like in everything that I could choose to be Yoshi, and I'd be Yoshi.
Yeah.
And I was playing Mario Kart, and I couldn't I've been playing Mario Kart a lot lately with my friend. A few friends, and one of my friends is really good at it, which is weird because usually I'm the best one at Mario Kart. And I was like, all right, well, I have to switch characters because this like I'm not doing well with what I'm doing, my setup. So I switched to Cat Peach, who's from this game.
Yeah.
And Cat Peach is killer in Mario Kart.
Nice.
Also, just real fast side note, I always play as Luigi, so I think it's funny that you always play Mario, you always play Yoshi, and I always play as Luigi. So
that's funny.
That's cool.
All
right. Well, yeah. So next.
Caesar, what do you got, man? Number one.
So is that me?
That's you.
So this is purely on looks and aesthetics.
Okay.
And my number one is Galaxy.
Nice.
I
think that's a great top one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm more of a I like space and shit. I just like looking at the stars and like.
Yeah. No. For me, it was a toss between that. Yeah.
And aesthetically, Galaxy it's like very fucking beautiful. It's like well done, and like it's really different from like Sunshine and 64, and it's like really unique. I don't know. That's my number one.
I completely. It was a toss up between that and 3D World for me because I only wanted to give 3D World more love because I think it's completely underrated. But Galaxy, of course, is fantastic. And yeah, I'm a huge space nerd as well. So being able, just like some of the shit, being able to like hop from planet to planet on some of the stages and like cannon to another world. Yeah, no, that game was fucking dope. So sorry, did you pick 1 or 2?
That was my one.
That was number 1, yeah.
No, sorry. I mean, did you pick Super Mario Galaxy?
Oh, Galaxy.
No. One. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, Galaxy. I remember when they announced that game, and I was just like, it's like one of those things where you just like you don't know what to expect, and then you get something, and it's like completely unexpected. Like being able to run around planets and have like the physics engine where you could jump and it would loop you around the planet. Like it was such a cool concept.
Yeah, it was. You never see anything like that in a Mario game. And yeah, that changed platforming entirely because like, shit, like I'm on like a little planet.
Yeah, right. I don't think you'd ever really seen anything in a platforming, like any kind of platforming like that. Yeah, so it was really rad to see something that was like unique in a game that you're comfortable playing, right? In Mario. So
yeah, and the boss fights were fucking cool too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure. I mean, it wasn't in the same vein. I think that Mario Galaxy definitely did it way different and way better. But the only similarity I can think of was in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, when you'd had that level where you had kind of like the anti-gravity and you could jump between like little asteroids and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair,
yeah. I mean, definitely not as... I mean, this was so much more expansive and well done, because honestly, those were just to be... They were... Chaos Emerald grabs. Like, you would just go in between each rock and grab a different Chaos Emerald. But yeah, like definitely did it way better in Mario for sure.
Side note though, Sonic 2 Battle is my favorite Sonic game.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh man, yeah, same
Easily.
here. But yeah, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to remake that game or make another game like that, because that game was so good.
See, man, even when we're talking about Mario, Sonic finds his way to pop into this, man.
He's like, he
knows, dude. he's like, you motherfuckers killed me.
I spent way too much time in the Chow Garden.
Yes.
Fucking chows or whatever they're called.
That's what everyone did. Yeah.
I know, we all did, man.
I want the Chow Garden as an app on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, so I can just like...
Yeah, you were talking about like 100%ing 3D World. I 100% of the chows. Like, I got like all like the mythical ones.
Dude,
like,
it was so sick.
The all black one. Yeah.
Like the devil ones and like the angel ones.
Yeah, the angel ones.
I don't know why Sega hasn't gone back to that. They could make so much money. That game, it's clearly the best Sonic. Anyway, I digress.
This stream brought to you by Sonic Rush for the Nintendo Switch. But all right, so I think it's down to my number 1, and
yes, sir.
I don't think you boys are ready for it. I think you're gonna be quite taken aback by this one.
Mario Paint.
Yeah.
Mario Paint.
So my number 1, the top Mario game of all time, very underrated, highly sought after, who's on the Wii U, none other than Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, first off, that's not even a Mario game.
I'm like, you almost had me.
But dude,
that game was really good.
But Wingo though, that bird, remember that bird, dude, the boss man? That guy was tough, bro. Or I guess it was female, but that guy was tough. But no, but in all honesty, it's just gonna be Super Mario 64, because it was just the best. I know we already talked about it a lot, but that's honestly, it's just it. So, I mean, like, we talked about it last time on the other stream, which didn't get recorded. So we'll just say the lost episode of the Chillswitch. But right. I basically talked about how that was the game that I got for Christmas, and how like Christmas morning waking up, it's, I had one big gift. I didn't have anything else. I had one giant gift under the tree, super wrapped up, and I knew what it was. I knew it was the N64, but like there's still, like, you're a kid and you're like, it could be anything though. It could be like a toy, you know what I mean? And just opening it up. And in there is the N64.
Sweater. Oh.
Wait, don't tell me you were the 64 kid?
Yeah.
That was
me, dude. I was like, oh my god. So open it up and just absolutely like freaking out. Yep. Just there's N64 with Super Mario 64 in it. And I actually told them the story, which was the best part about it, is I opened it up Christmas night, or I mean, at Christmas Eve. We were allowed to open our gifts early on Christmas Eve. So I opened it up on Christmas Eve, and like, I'm super excited. I like set up the system, everything like that, and I go to play it, and I'm like, Dad, it won't play. Like, why won't the game play? And it turned out that the N64 didn't come with an aux cable. You had to buy it separately from the system. So we weren't actually even able to play it that night. I had to wait until the next day for my dad to go out and get an aux cable to play it. So I had it all set up, and I couldn't even play it because Nintendo wanted to get that extra money by having you buy the aux cable separately.
That must have been so disappointing.
It was, man. I was so excited. I'm just like, I went to bed. I like literally forced myself to go to sleep as fast as I could, just so I knew I could wake up the next morning on Christmas and play it. So.
Yeah.
And I think the only place open was like Walmart. So my dad had to like go to like Walmart and be like one of the only people there like getting the aux cable.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, best N64 that's and the reason why I said that too is because I was saying earlier how I was a Sega fanboy, and the N64 and specifically Super Mario 64 is what completely changed me over to being a Nintendo fanboy. Like, I was all Sega, like, pretty much like through all of like elementary school, and then as soon as like I got into middle school and I did the N64, I was instantly a Nintendo fan for the rest of my life, and like it's like flipping a switch. But yeah, so it
see
worked.
What you did there.
So yeah, it just worked, man. That's what it was.
Oh, I just got that.
I know, man. I'm cheese. I'm super cheese. So, but yeah, man, that's my number one. So
very nice, gentlemen. Very nice.
I honestly didn't think that would make our list.
I mean, I had to. I knew it was gonna be super obvious, but I had to go with it.
No, honestly, I'm surprised that I thought everyone would mention that at least like somewhere. So I'm glad though. I'm glad I think we had a really good variety, and turns out Paper Diego and me are the same person.
Yep.
Pretty much. I mean, we got most of ours the same.
Wait, Diego, is your name a reference to Paper Mario, or is it just coincidence?
It's a reference to Paper Mario. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you that when you were talking about it. I didn't get a chance to fight it.
No, yeah, I remember when I was so backstory on my screen name for almost everything is it's Paper Diego. Do you guys remember back in the day when the internet was like a brand new thing and the only internet you could get was AOL?
Yeah.
No.
I know.
No.
There's a generational gap right there.
I was gonna say, those were dark days. Those were real dark days.
For reals, yeah, because your internet wouldn't load. It would load in strips. So like you try and open a picture up and it's like 15 minutes for like your JPEG to load.
Yeah.
So I was finally old enough to have like my own account. My parents were like, yeah, you can have your own accounts on this, on AOL. And I'm like, yeah. And I was sitting there with my brother, and my brother was a tech nerd. Like, he was all like into like, computers and all that stuff. So he was setting it up for me, and he's like, okay, well, what's your screen name going to be? And I was like, oh shit. I've been waiting forever for like my own AOL account and think of what I wanted to name it. And my brother was just like, he's like, well, what do you like? And at that time I was playing Paper Mario, and I was like, well, shit, I love Paper Mario. And he goes, okay, well, just name it Paper Diego. And I was like, and it was like an epiphany.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
That's amazing.
That is.
And so it's followed me on everything. It's, so yeah. And that's how you know that I'm a real Paper Mario fan.
That's true. That's a sign right there, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, right, I love Paper Mario.
We're getting dangerously close. We're gonna have to start wrapping it up here because we're getting dangerously
close. I was just about to say, yeah, I'm getting
schedule.
ready to head to a midnight launch here.
So before we go though, let's go ahead and let's do some final thoughts on Mario Odyssey real quick, and just kind of just go around, just like what are you most looking forward to? What do you think is going to surprise you? What are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts before this game is about to be in your hands here within the hour?
Personally, I'm looking forward to the variety. That was something that I think they really started to do well in 3D World, just being able to mix things up, and it looks like they're continuing that trend here. Just there's a lot, and also so variety and throwbacks. It seems like they're also calling back to a lot of the old school stuff. I won't say what, because I know you guys have been keeping in the dark, but it looks really fucking cool. It's been getting amazing reviews. What more can I say?
I hear you. Yeah, and I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the throwbacks, and I think I really like just the unique. I like the unique setting. I like I at first when I saw the real world setting, I was kind of like confused because I didn't really understand it. I was like, oh wait, is this going to be all just one big, you know, like realistic world with like humans? I was like, I'm not sure if I'm into that. Like Sonic did that, and I wasn't cool with it. So am I going to be cool with Mario doing it? But the fact that it's like a giant, it's just like a universe. You know what I mean? It's like you're not just in, you know, like a New York style city with humans. You know, you're out in, you know, the middle of the wilderness in a forest with crazy looking creatures and machines, and then you're in the desert with, you know, these sphinxes that you can ride on and stuff. And it's like a cornucopia of different themes, which I think is the reason why I want to play it so much, because I love eclectic and just weird games like that. So, and it's Mario, so it makes it even better.
Yeah, and I think I'm just so I was always like wondering what they were gonna do after Galaxy. Because I felt like it's like, what do you do after Mario goes to space?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious to see like if they can. I mean, obviously the reviews are in, so I guess they did it right, like they made a good game. But I was just curious if they can recapture when it like in these sandbox games, like recapture the magic of Galaxy. So
Right.
You know, it looks like they did. I mean, I'm hyped for it. I'm gonna wait till 12 and play it for an hour and probably not go to sleep. So
Yeah, right. Play it for an hour and then another hour, another hour.
Right. And then, you know, get fired from my job. So
That works.
whatever. It'll be worth it.
All right. And Caesar, any final thoughts, Caesar?
So I know this is not gonna happen, but like I just want like a surprise cameo from like Donkey Kong or fucking Wario or Waluigi.
Yes.
Just something like you're not expecting.
I'm totally down with that. I would love a crazy
cameo
cameo
you know what?
appearance.
That'd be a crazy cameo would be dope.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't mind Waluigi making an appearance in an actual game.
Just
A
anyone.
mainline game.
Yeah, that's true.
Even fucking Sonic. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Sonic, yeah. Do we know if Yoshi's in this game?
I
well,
haven't seen anything. I haven't. Personally.
Yeah.
I don't even know if
there's
Luigi's in this
there's a
game.
dinosaur. I'm like, I see it right now.
Yeah, yeah, Caesar's right. I don't even know if fucking Luigi's in this game.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I have no idea who's all in it. Like, this might just be like another classic, like just solo Mario thing, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Now I'm very excited. Now I'm even more excited because now I'm like, oh man, I really hope there's cameos now because I really want that. Just
Yeah.
I'm hoping it happens, man. So
Wait. Yeah, no, that'd be cool. I'm excited.
it's
We'll
awesome.
have to do a recap episode once we've all played it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah,
post-release.
like a post release cast. That'd be incredible.
Down, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it has been fun. We're all gonna be heading out here for some of us are gonna be heading out for the midnight release, and some of us are just gonna be waiting patiently at our Switch docks to play the game.
Yep.
So, for everyone listening, this has been the Chillswitch. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope you're gonna enjoy Mario as well. For Ryan, Diego, Caesar, and Mario, I hope everyone has a great time playing the game and a great night. You guys got anything else you want to say before you head out?
Choo
No,
choo.
just
Choo choo!
everyone
Night
enjoy
trains
the day.
leaving the station.
Yeah. Enjoy the game. Have a good midnight lunch. Stay warm. It's cold up here.
Yeah, everyone else, enjoy it. Have fun. I'm sure we'll probably chat later because none of us are gonna sleep.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you next time on the Chillswitch.